Greetings, ghouls. Welcome to Deadsville Horror Talk. I'm your host, Ronin James, and to my left, the lovely Steph Infection.
Hey, Scream Hearts.
Today we are going to review a movie that just came to Shudder called Elevator Game. And we watched this one last week,
and then again, today. Kind of.
It's been a busy week.
Yeah.
So we're still playing catch up. We have a lot going on. We will fill you in.
Yeah.
But yes, we are looking at Elevator Game today. This is a 2023 release. You can watch it now on Shudder. It is rated what? Steph Infection? What is our rating?
It is.
Is it R or is it PG-13? Anything?
I don't see.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Way to be on top of it, Steph Infection.
You know what? I wasn't expecting that question.
You want to know what the rating of the movie is?
It doesn't say it.
It doesn't say it anywhere on the IMDb page. No idea. Unrated.
Wait.
The unrated Shudder movie, Elevator Game. There's literally no rating.
No.
I'm seeing nothing on Wikipedia.
Yeah, that's what.
And nothing on IMDb.
I feel like if it would have had to go maybe somewhere else other than Shudder, like it would have had an official.
I mean, there was
ratings.
blood and there was some blood in it, so I would think it was R.
Well, I was recently surprised at what was PG-13 recently. Like Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Did you know that was PG-13?
Oh, well, yeah. You can get away with a lot as long as you don't show human blood.
Originally, I thought it was like only one F word. We got to look up these rules because I really...
Well, I know part of it is you can't show red blood. If it's aliens, you can slaughter as many aliens with green or black or whatever color blood as you want, and it can be PG-13.
I meant the language.
Oh, okay.
They say, because I rewatched it this week, and I was like, holy crap, they say a lot of F word and D-bag and all these stuff. And I was like, this is PG-13? This is a lot of language. So we should look up those rules, because I'm actually curious at a later date.
Yeah, well, there's a different show.
Yeah.
This show is about Elevator Game.
It is.
Before we get to that, though, a bit about us. I'm Deadsville director Ronin James. I direct Deadsville Rock and Roll Mysteries. I direct Dickie Devil and the Deviants music videos.
Yeah.
I've done a few shorts, but I've also worked many, many moons as a stuntman and stunt coordinator under the name Jay Green. If you want to look me up on IMDb, I'll put the spelling here. You can check out all my credits. Most notably probably is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, fighting Sylvester Stallone in Escape Plan 2. Gotham, I had a co-starring role as a biker, and then also doubled Michael Chiklis on Gotham for a bit. One of his doubles. He had a few doubles. I stepped in and did a couple episodes for him. But yes, I've been doing this a little while now, and I am still in the game.
Very busy, actually.
Very busy in the game. That's why we're a little bit behind. I have been on a few sets these last few weeks. And one of the reasons I'm wearing this Nightmare on Elm Street shirt is a bit of an homage. I am a longtime veteran stuntman, and I am currently working on a film called Stalked, a horror film shooting in New Jersey. And one of the reasons I'm wearing this shirt is a bit of an homage because the other night I worked with Nancy, actress Heather Langenkamp from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
She is one of the stars of this movie, along with a few other notable names. You might recognize Scout Taylor Compton. Just worked with her the other night as well. She had a little stunt on the shoot. Mr. Andrew Divoff, who was the Wishmaster, if you've ever seen Wishmaster. Yes, we'll have to get him to voice something on the show.
That would be
his
fun.
voice is amazing.
That would be really cool.
And Katie Sarafay, I believe it's pronounced. She was from Annabelle Comes Home. Bill Oberst Jr., also from 3 from Hell and Death House. Worked with Bill on Death House, even though he was on a separate unit. He was on the LA unit of Death House, but he and I talked the other night and discussed our disappointment
in Death House. God.
It's funny
so much
because
disappointment.
him and Les, me and him and Les were all. Les was with me on set as well. So I'm working this. I'm doing some stunt coordinating, some stunt rigging, and Les Price, the Deadsville actor, stuntman, as well as
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead, and he was a big part of the. He had the big tongue in Death House.
Yes.
The big tongue. In
Very
Death House. And that's even how Bill remembered him, too. Bill remembered he's like, you're the tongue in Death House.
You're the tongue guy.
So, yeah, that was fun. But yes, this is, it's been really fun working on this one. We've done some really cool gags. I can't give anything away. No spoilers. Stunt coordinating on this one. We've got some stunt driving. We've got some killing, obviously, horror movie. Some rigging. I'm wiring some things and
Yeah, you're busy.
flying some stuff and peoples and yeah, all kinds of fun stuff.
It'll all be revealed at some point.
But very grateful to be on this one. A lot of great actors. Story's really good, and excited to see how it all turns out.
Yeah.
And we will have the writer and director of this movie, hopefully, joining us on a future podcast. Once everything wraps up with production and they get some time off.
That's the plan.
They want to come into studio and check the place out. So we will move to set 2 over there.
Yes,
and,
once we get set 2 squared away.
Yeah. So we'll do a nice sit down with the writer and the director of Stalked. But moving on from that.
Yeah.
And me.
Yes. I think you took up all the time, so we'll just say, I am Steph Infection. Hi.
She does some shit too. Steph Infection helped us test a rig for Stalked, actually.
Yeah.
So you had a hand in this as well.
That wasn't officially like my first stunt, but that was my first harness.
First rigging stunt?
Rigging
we did
stunt.
some rigging stuff, some stunts where we had to have Steph Infection join us and help test some stuff out.
Yeah.
Also our puppeteer Maddie Meek, and we went to our actor Chris Dyer's studio. And, Les was there to help me pull ropes, and then we had Nick Kelly, another actor from Deadsville, came out and learned to ride the ropes a little bit. Had a fun night. People riding ropes. Steph Infection broke her toe.
I thought I wasn't supposed to tell anyone, but I took it like a champ.
She took it like a champ. I'm not going to touch that one.
See, I told you, I just lob them.
Yep.
Yes, I did break my toe, but it was just a fluke, and I'm okay.
That's what happens in stunts.
I kept going. I didn't stop.
Yep.
I knew it broke. I went, yeah, it broke, but let's keep going.
Yep. That's how it goes sometimes. You got to take a licking and keep on kicking.
Something like that.
Something like that. But call to action time, Steph Infection.
You were thinking about scaring me.
No, not yet.
All right.
It's call to action time.
Yeah.
That means it's time for me to tell you to follow, like, subscribe, hit the bell, ding, put the alarm on. I don't know. What else do we do, Steph Infection? Do we have a mailbag this week? We have a mailbag.
We have a mailbag.
If anybody wants to write to it, pew, pew, pew. There you go.
Yeah,
If
right.
you have questions, maybe that's what you throw out there too. If you have questions for the writer and director of
that
Stalked,
too. Absolutely.
or stunt coordinator of Stalked, maybe we'll get some of the actors on at some point as well.
Yeah.
Maybe some
That
of the
would be
local
really-
ones. I know I can get Ricky. Ricky's doing some acting on this one as well as stunts, so maybe we can get Ricky on it.
That would be really cool. Hopefully after when it's released and we can do a podcast episode and possibly have a star from it on it. That would be cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be very cool. And we could discuss all the stunts and how we did them.
But if you do have any questions, you can email us at deadsvillehorrortalk@gmail.com. Subject mailbag.
Yep. So questions about Stalked, or questions about either of us, or what's going on in Deadsville, or Dickie Devil and the Deviants, Deadsville, anything Deadsville related, we will answer your questions on the next episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you want to talk about this movie, we can also discuss that, or any
Yes.
of the other movies we have previously reviewed. Feel free to share your thoughts on any of our previously reviewed movies, I should say. Also, we are going to making the jump to Rumble.
Oh, we're just giving it. We're just giving it.
Yeah, we're jumping to Rumble.
All right, we're jumping to Rumble.
Yeah, there's another video platform that you should check out, and where we're going to be uploading all of our videos. It's called Rumble. And rumble.com. RUMBLE.com. DVHT.com. We'll put it here.
Yes.
And you can go there and you'll find Deadsville Productions. We just started uploading some stuff tonight. We're submitting videos, and we'll see what they accept, and you can catch us there.
Yeah, I just found out myself, people, so I'm very excited.
Yeah. YouTube makes you jump through a lot of hoops. And
Too many.
A lot of crap.
But
Stuff
doesn't
going
mean
on
we're
with
leaving YouTube.
We're not leaving YouTube.
We just want some other avenues.
But yeah, Rumble seems like a really cool place for creators, artists. There's a lot of comedians on Rumble now, I see. I'm following Jim Brewer now and some other comedians.
Yeah.
So, yeah, check out Rumble and you'll be able to find us there as well. All right, enough of that. Let's get to it. I'm just going to give you the synopsis of this movie because everything that's written online is just terrible. So, the movie's about some YouTubers or, online influencers, whatever they are. It's about every damn movie that's coming out nowadays is about people like us who are here doing content, shooting content. It's all about content. So these content creators play games online and they hear about this elevator game, which is like an online kind of urban legend about the fifth floor woman. And if you find an elevator that's haunted, you can follow these directions and
you open a dimension.
Open a door to the red world.
Yeah.
So
they do that.
Yeah. So this movie, there's a lot of stuff going on here that has been seen before, that is very familiar. You've got your red world, which is like the upside down, which is like the other side, which is like we've called it we've watched 20 movies where they call it something else.
Yeah.
Nothing? You got nothing for me?
No,
nothing.
But I feel like it's spoiling a little bit. So
how's it spoiling a little bit? I mean, this is standard stuff here.
All right.
You got a group of teenagers or whatever, 20-something content creators, and they hear this game, so they go to play the game.
Yes.
And that's our movie, and it's a standard setup for another kind of supernatural, I won't say haunted object unless you count the elevator as the object that's haunted, right? So,
I would.
So we're in another haunted,
I mean,
another possessed object movie.
Well, again, what do you possess? A thing, a place, or a being?
Yeah,
That's about it.
I get it. All right, well, this is a place.
Not that
like
there's any possessions in this, but...
So, our director, Rebecca McKendry. Do we have anything else on her?
She's got a lot of shorts.
Yeah, got a lot of shorts. This is another new director for us. Real quick, this thing's on Shudder. I'm sure we've mentioned that.
Yes.
This is a Shudder exclusive, Shudder original. Yeah, but she's done, what have we got? Tales of Halloween, All the Creatures Are Stirring, The Dumps. It looks like she does some horror stuff, so at least she's in that horror. Oh, yeah. She's in All the Creatures Are Stirring. It's like an anthology, I believe.
Yes, that sounds really
Tales of Halloween. Yeah. Trick segment. Okay. Interesting. All right.
And then, I mean,
she
I guess she was a producer.
She was a producer on the Fangoria Chainsaw
Awards. Yeah. Saw that.
All right. Zombies Gone Wild short.
Yeah, I mean,
Blood and Guts with
she's
Scott
keeping
Ian.
within the genre, so
She was a producer on Blood and Guts with Scott Ian, and I'm going to assume that is Scott Ian of Anthrax. I'm not familiar with the show, but if somebody wants to write in and tell us, is this
it must be
Blood and Guts with Scott Ian?
I wonder if it's a...
Yeah, celebrating the pure awesomeness of monster makeup and gore effects, Scott Ian has teamed up with the Nerdist channel to bring you Blood and Guts.
Very cool.
Yeah, and there he is. Yeah, it's Scott Ian of Anthrax. That is
like
very
an
cool.
like a
I had no
special
idea that was a
effects
thing.
kind of thing.
Yep, that's very cool. Okay, so she was a producer on that one.
So she's staying with it. I mean,
She does do the horror stuff. So yeah. And I'll tell you what, I didn't hate the direction. I thought it was decent. I thought she did a decent job. The writers were David Ian McKendry and Travis Sapala.
I didn't look.
I haven't looked them up either. The script was okay. It was kind of standard fare-ish, but good enough to keep my attention.
Oh, they were writer. He was a writer on a lot of...
Yeah, he's probably worked What was the Glorious screenplay by? Oh, that's funny. Glorious is the movie about a glory hole.
Are you really?
It's like the glory hole of Cthulhu that's talking to. Yeah. He wrote the screenplay on Glorious. That's another one on Shudder. So yeah, he's involved with Shudder and horror as well, and that's
he did all the
cool.
Creatures Were Stirring too, where he worked with our director before. And
Yeah. So they have this is like a cool little horror team. So good for them.
I will say I liked in the writing that it kind of everything just flowed. Like it was written well, where we got backstory moving forward.
Yeah, stuff.
Even with
quick.
the new cast coming in, we got all of their personalities pretty quickly. So, without giving anything, I thought it was written pretty.
I thought the writing was pretty good on it as well. I mean, I kind of had, you kind of could see some stuff where it was going, and there were a couple creative choices that I felt could have been better. We could discuss them as we get into our spoilers. But overall, yeah. I thought the writing on it was pretty good. So our cast. We had Gino Ananya as Ryan Keaton, Megan Best as Becky Keaton, Alec Carlos as Chris Russo. All these people are pretty newish to me. I haven't seen any.
I guess they're all Canadian.
Before. Shot in Canada. Was it shot
yes.
in Canada?
Like a lot of things.
So yeah.
This guy looked familiar.
Let's get into our first takes, Steph Infection.
Oh, I knew it was coming.
And these are going to be a little bit extended. We're going to do our spoiler-free first take so that we can maybe chop this little piece out and make this a separate segment that you can listen to
in case you're scared.
Or watch.
Yeah.
So that you don't worry about getting into spoiler territory.
Yes.
So you take it all the way up to here.
Yeah.
So, these are our first takes. Ladies first, Steph Infection.
It didn't get me. You didn't get me that time. I'm getting good.
Yep.
All right. So my first take. Overall, I really liked it. I thought that it grabbed me right away. Like I started to say earlier, I liked some of the characters that were introduced. It was comedic, but we kind of got all of their personalities very quickly. Once it started to get into like the game, like I was even watching it a second time, it was suspenseful in spots where I was like, usually the second time you know something's coming. I knew it was coming, and it's still, there's some jump scares that kind of got me. As we went through the movie, there's some, I guess, kill scenes that I was like, with, but then there was really good ones. So I was going back and forth with some choices, but overall, like I really liked it. And like, there's something at the end that is just like a storyline that comes out that I was like, holy crap. Like, you just, like, I don't know whether the cry or like it hurt my heart, but it was like scary all at once. So it was kind of like a direction I don't think anyone's ever really been that kind of dark, if you know what I'm talking about. But
you have to remind me of it. I remember it getting that.
Yeah, I will, because I was like, damn. But overall, like I liked it, and then even the ending, it got me. I wasn't expecting the ending. I really thought it was going to go in a totally different direction, and then I was surprised, and then again surprised. So, and we'll get into all that. But overall, it was like it kept me on my toes the entire time from the beginning to the end. I liked it. I liked the characters. I thought some of them were absolutely great actors and funny, and I don't know. I really, really liked it. I would recommend it.
Cool. All right. Well, I'd recommend it as well. You have to. So this movie has a very kind of B-movie charm to it. It's one of these movies that right off the bat, they don't have a really big budget. And so you root for something like this. You want it to be good. You're like, okay. You never heard any of these actors before. But But you know, obviously, even just going through the director and writer, they're involved in horror. So you want it to be good. You know that the acting's not going to be upper echelon, and it wasn't. But it wasn't terrible. It was still good. The acting was solid enough. It was good B horror movie acting, I would say. The characters, like you said, pretty well fleshed out. I kind of, not all of them, but the ones that you kind of needed to know about, you got to know about. The opening grabs you right away, and that was a huge, like, for me, that's a big thing. Like, you have to get me invested right off the bat. Do something that makes me go, okay, I'm in. That's what I want. Like in the first, before the credits, the opening credits even roll. Sometimes you really gotta like hit me with something where I'm gonna go, all right, I'm here for the long haul. Because if you don't, I'll know right away watching a movie if something doesn't pull me in at the beginning. I'm like, I'm going to be pulling my phone out during this one.
Yep, or falling asleep. I'm going to be...
Yeah. So this one, that opening was really good.
Yeah,
and I definitely was like, all right, here we go. This is, this could be a good one. And then, we kind of get introduced to this whole phenomenon, this online phenomenon of the elevator game. And, we see I don't want to get too far into our spoilers, but because we're still in our first take section.
Yeah.
But yeah, we meet the players, and it's another one of these content creator, influencer movies.
But don't you think just that it's kind of a lower budget, like that's the way to go, or like found footage, which I know you hate, but like
because
and they don't go that route with the found footage.
Yeah. I mean, it's a way to mask the fact that your budget is so low. We meant to do that because it's supposed to be shot on GoPros.
It wasn't. It was like
it's supposed to be GoPro footage.
Yeah, not that many locations. They didn't do that much. Like it really wasn't done that much. But just a couple locations shot on, too. So.
Yeah, I mean, they did a lot with a little in this. Now, I will say one of my pet peeves did play into this. One of my pet peeves, I try not to watch trailers anymore.
Oh, I was going to bring this up after you were done talking a little bit.
And we watched the trailer for this one, and I regretted watching the trailer for this one as I was watching the movie because, once again...
There's like the best
scariest, creepiest parts of the fucking movie they put in the trailer, so they ruined it all. So when it happened in the movie, like, I just knew, like, because they cut to the scene and you're like, oh, this is the scene from the trailer. I know the scary shit that's about to happen here, and they build up all this tension, but you've already seen it in the trailer, so it's fucking useless. It's still creepy because they're less like, oh, cool, this was that creepy part from the trailer. But it's still it's not as effective because you fucking ruined it in the goddamn trailer. Stop showing everything in the fucking trailer.
Yeah.
I know you're trying to get people to come to see the movie. I know you want to show good parts of the movie.
And there probably was, it was the best part of the movie.
You are killing me. Yeah. Killing me. That was one of the creepiest scenes of the movie.
I know.
And it ruined it because it was already shown in the trailer. And it was one of the things that made me watch the movie.
I was going to disagree with you a little bit. I was going to suggest for our audience to not watch the trailer and just trust us and put it on. Because you don't need the trailer. You're going to probably see the best parts of the movie in the trailer. However, I don't think it ruined it for me.
No, it didn't ruin the movie. It ruined that part for me, though, because I knew what was coming.
Even the second time when we were just watching it, and I was trying to take notes watching it, I went, I know it's coming.
It's still creepy.
I know it's coming.
No, I get it.
And I was like,
creepy,
it's coming. Oh, there it is.
Even when we watched the movie the first time, I knew it was coming because I saw the trailer, and it was still creepy, but just imagine if we didn't know that first time how creepy that would have been.
I know. And do you remember when we were watching it, I said, should we shut off the trailer? And you went, oh, I already watched it. And I was like, oh, so I guess I got to watch the whole thing now, too.
Yes, because I had watched the trailer already. Because we were we were trying to, again,
figure out
what we're going to watch. And I don't want to watch a clunker.
You could have been like, don't watch the trailer. Just trust me. So trust us and just don't watch the trailer.
Don't watch the trailer.
Yeah.
That's our recommendation.
Yeah.
That's our first take. Don't watch the trailer, just watch the movie.
Yeah. I mean,
There's some good scares in there.
I think so. I think for like a Shudder, like you said, like a low budget, are you going to be like blown away? No.
No,
But
they're not
this
reinventing the wheel. They're not doing anything crazy, different, or groundbreaking. But it's a solid little horror movie.
I enjoyed it.
And it was fun, yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. That does it for First Takes. Steph Infection.
I guess so.
We both give this one the Deadsville Horror Talk seal of approval.
Yes. Stamp. Can we get a little stamp there?
Oh, we can get a stamp. You know what else we can get, Steph Infection? A shovel! Because it's time to dig deeper! Bonk. Dig deeper, Steph Infection!
Ew.
Mix up my luxurious locks.
Yeah. My makeup looks good on you.
All right, digging deeper. This is the spoiler section, so if you have not watched the elevator game yet and you plan to and you don't want anything spoiled, pause the show right now, go watch the elevator game without watching the trailer, and then come back and listen to the rest and see if you agree with what we're about to discuss.
Yeah.
That out of the way, Steph Infection, kick it off. Let's do this.
All right, we're going to go through our opening scene.
The opening scene was awesome. I thought this was like what really made the movie like even in the trailer, like the way it's shot. It's very
So I'll say they make it even like a joke at one point, like who wants? You got to ride the elevator. We'll get into that to open the portal, but. They say, who wants to watch anyone like just ride an elevator? But it's so suspenseful. She's by herself. She goes in. She does have her phone. She's talking to somebody. We don't know who yet. And she's saying, I'm going to do it. Like she's videoing it. She's going to send it to somebody. You know, wish you were here with me. We don't know who that is. And she's playing the game. And
also keep in mind, it's like an old elevator. It's an old building. They're cutting to like the mechanics of the elevator moving as she's doing like close-ups on gears and close-ups on the wall. It's like old and concrete and
so you get a sense of your space there. Like when you do things like that, like you now know what it sounds like. You know what what the walls look like, and it's kind of. I thought it was shot really well.
Yeah. The opening scene. I wish they would have spent as much time shooting some of the other scenes as they did the opening scene. Because the opening scene was really awesome.
Yeah.
And then some of the other scenes, like some of the kills, I was like, I feel like this was rushed.
Wow.
But that happens.
That too.
Trust me. Yeah. That happens on movie sets. That's, believe me, I'm there.
Yeah. Well, and we'll get into what you thought was rushed. But it gets explained in the next scene, but the game is that you get on, and she's got a little piece of paper, and she shows it to us, because this is how I wrote this down, because it's exactly how she had it written down, except my parentheses. But you have to go to the 4th floor, then the 2nd floor, then the 6th floor, then the 2nd floor, then the 10th floor, then the 5th floor, and when the doors open to the 5th floor, you have to shut your eyes closed. Apparently, she comes on board. And then when the door's shut, then you can open your eyes again, but you're not supposed to look her in the eye. And you're supposed to
look at all. You're supposed to keep your eyes closed the whole time. Right?
Until the door's shut, and then you hit 1, and it's supposed to bring you up to the 10th floor, which is the red room at that moment. And but if you do look at her, you get ripped to shreds. So we see this in the opening scene where she sees her, and instantly we get our first kill.
Yeah.
You know. Which is cool. So then...
Well, yeah, she goes up. She hits the thing and she starts going to the 10th
But
floor.
we feel that panic. Like, she's like, no, like hitting every button. And she was very believable.
Also, she didn't she opened her eyes because the door didn't shut. Remember, she was like, shut, and the door wasn't shutting. You've been on the elevator. Everybody's been on an elevator, and you're like, come on, why is this door shutting?
Yeah.
So that's what she was kind of like shut with her eyes closed, and then she could, like, the wind was blowing behind her, like somebody got on. Like, it was shot very well. It was very well done.
And it was very believable, because you always yell at people in horror movies, like, why would you do that? You wouldn't really believe that there's a ghost. So you'd be like, you know, I mean, we've all been scared at times with our eyes closed, and you're like, all right, do I just look a little bit, like, to see what's going on? And if you look even a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did.
You did.
So, yeah.
So that was a good opening scene.
That was a good opening. Pulled me in. Pulled us in. We set the tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wish they would have spent more time on some other scenes.
Well,
all right.
we'll get there.
Then we
get introduced to our horror reality channel through, like, a previous shot show. So they're showing a show, and we see, and this was brilliant too. They are like a podcast, whatever, TV channel show, YouTube channel show, and they're showing the opening credits where it's like Chris, the host, and you see him say something. Chloe, research nerd. Maddie, true believer. Izzy, tech guru. And so you instantly, you're like, oh, that's my cast. Like, and then you get their personality is when you see Kevin. I guess he's in charge of everything.
Yeah, he's the producer. He
instantly starts yelling that the sponsor isn't seen in the thing, and they're all making jokes, and you get all their personalities kind of pretty quickly in their conversation. So that quickly, that's why I like the writing, because even though, like, low budget, now we know everyone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we keep the ball rolling. We don't have to spend too much time.
Yeah, no backstories, no weird, you know, needing to know why Maddie really is the true believer. He right. believes, you know, that's what I feel like movies do. Why does he believe so much? Yeah. Why is Chloe a research nerd? No, we just, this is their...
That's her character. Move on.
So, yeah, so, and we see Ryan, who is in another room, kind of listening. They're all going through what the sponsor needs, and we know that they all don't want to give up on the show. We get that really quickly, because he's like, look, if we don't have our sponsor, then we can't do this. And are you going to go to dentistry school? Are you going to, like, you have an apartment to pay for? You would, like, it was just so quick. I'm like, okay, that's the reason why they don't want, like, they would do anything to keep this going. We very quickly get that the sponsor is probably not happy that his cup of Joe or whatever is in the back corner and not in one of their hands.
They're not great at this yet. They're still kind of getting their feet wet, finding their way. We learned that they're kind of fresh out of high school almost, not long out of high school. And so, you know, they're out into the real world trying to make this show work.
Yeah.
All right, we get it.
Yeah.
Next.
Right. Yeah, so Ryan gets introduced as the new member.
Yeah, and Ryan comes in, and he's got they start talking about
what to shoot next.
Yeah, the next show ideas, and he's the one that pitches
the elevator game. And you can already tell Chris is like, no, nobody wants to. I said this before. Nobody wants to watch us in an elevator for 20 minutes, like blah blah blah. Then in the meantime, they, I guess, agree to go do something else, and the sponsor calls. That quickly. Sponsor calls. He needs a show in a week. He comes out, and they're like, what can we do in a week? And you got Izzy, who's like, I need a week to edit. Sounds like it. I need a month to edit. But, yeah, so they're like, well, what can we do in one location? That would be quick, you know, to edit everything.
It was just convenient enough.
It was just convenient enough, yeah.
They do the elevator game.
And, you know, you got to have some...
And the guy...
Perfect timing in movies.
The kid knew the girl's name. He tried to play it off. Ryan knew, oh, Becky
something or other, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was all very coincidental. Conveniently coincidental, right?
Yeah.
That he showed up.
Well, right away, we were like, something's up with him. We know.
Yep.
And I think right away I said, he's like the boyfriend or something.
Yep. All right. So he joins the crew when they decide to go do the elevator game.
Yes. So we get to the old building. They set up cameras in the elevator, and then Chris, Chloe, and Maddie go up, but on the 5th floor. Okay, so they go up and leave the other ones downstairs, but on the 5th floor, Chris peeks. All right. Now, right before this, Maddie, being the true believer, he's like asking. He's like, like
He
Chris
wants
is,
to get off of
you
the
can see
elevator.
that Chris is just arrogant. He's
He doesn't believe
he doesn't
in
believe. And Maddie's like, please promise that you're not going to open your eyes. Please promise, promise, promise. Like, so we get that he's an asshole, and he really, really like believes it. Well, Chris peeks, and before the door shut, and nobody really knows that. Cameras stop working for them. Izzy's seeing that on the first floor in the same time that this is going on. Once they're done, they go to hit 1, and they start going up. So they're all freaking out. But then, boom, 9th floor, there's one lonely guy left in this office building. So they don't go to the 10th floor. So then they're like, you know.
They get saved.
They thought like, oh, it didn't work. It was BS, and we're just going to go back down. When they go back down, they realize that none of the second half wasn't recorded, so they're freaking out. Chris is immediately like, we're not doing this anymore, and then Ryan calls him out and says, that was my sister. You were sleeping with her.
This when all the secrets come out.
Yeah, you just don't want to do it because you don't want to be tied to Becky. And they're like, who's Becky?
Yep, and he's sleeping with his sister and told her to do the elevator game, to play it and record it, and he would make her famous.
Yeah.
And used his YouTube stardom to influence her.
Get her in there.
And she was still in high school, right? Isn't that what you said?
Yes, she was a freshman, and they were like, you were, Chris. And he's like, what? I was in high school, and they were like a week ago. And then they're like, you were a senior, whatever. It was. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris seems like a real.
Yeah, he was a jerk.
Piece of work there.
I was never a freshman with a senior. Never.
All right. Well, we don't have to keep going through all the play-by-play here. Let's get some of the finer points. Come on.
I thought I did. Okay, so that's important. So they all disperse because they're mad at each other, and now we kind of see that we kind of get the inkling that this ghost girl is following them. They're all going home, but Chris walks into his apartment building and instantly sees something under the stairs. And it's like a silhouette, a half a shadow. And I thought it was decent enough kill. He kind of is like looking, we see her face. He kind of levitates, his bones are all breaking. You would know more on how this camera is done, because even the part where his head starts turning. Like
at a certain point you could tell it's a fake head.
Yeah.
Prosthetic head, or a CG head, and they're just twisting it around.
It looked almost CG, like they kept him in frame and then just moved it on camera, or like in editing.
Yeah, I had to watch it again.
It was a little
awkward.
I don't think they paid for a head.
No, they probably had a CG. I mean, they probably had a head made.
Yeah, well, anyway.
Yeah, a little bit of rigging, lift his feet off the ground, and yeah, it was okay death. I was kind of disappointed in that whole part right there, because I get it. Who else are you going to kill? Because it's only 3 of them that have played the game, so he would have to be the one to go, because, like you said, when we were talking about it after watching it this time, the true believer has to believe, and the geek has to get all the information, so the asshole has to be the first one to die. But he's such an asshole. I was hoping he would, I wanted the build up to be more, and
yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, make him scared, maybe run through the hallways or something like that.
A little bloodier. There wasn't any blood to his death. It was just like...
And he felt, there was a little dribble that came out of his mouth when he fell.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that kill, but I did, I thought he should have been the first one to go.
Yeah, out of the 3, I guess he would be the one to go.
So after Chris dies, we see, we're cutting to every one of them, but Ryan goes back and he plays the game in its entirety and goes to the Red World. So that happens immediately. He just goes right back, and
and that's when we get the fucking scariest scene of the movie that is spoiled in the trailer.
Yes. You want to talk about the scariest scene in the movie?
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, actually,
it's in the Red World, and
well, actually, it doesn't come up yet.
Oh, okay.
So I just want to like set the tone. So he goes to the Red World. We see Izzy and Kevin back, and they realize that, oh, they forgot a camera. So they're going back to the same building also as Ryan's playing the game. Maddie is waiting for the bus. We get a first glimpse that he's waiting for the bus. And Chloe is on her laptop, and the girl is kind of like flashing behind her, and she doesn't see it. So, yes, Ryan goes to the Red World, and it's kind of cool. I'll set you up a little bit. Like, there's a big, almost like the bat symbol, like the X, red like X in the sky, but it's the same town and everything, just in red.
Yep. Everything with a red filter over it.
So when he walks out into the, oh.
I'm in the red room with a red, I'm in the, what is it, the red floor?
Red world.
In the red world.
Oh, and then we had the red door. I mean, Insidious, it's all.
Yeah. The red world, the red door, the upside down.
Yeah. I guess red's the color, right? So he walks out, and it's like almost looks like a hotel room, and then he goes out into the street, and then what does he see?
He's got the silhouette, and he thinks it's his sister. And he's calling to her. And he's like, Becky?
No, he says hello once.
Does he say hello? I thought he said Becky. I thought he called Becky.
Well, he says it kind of under his breath. He's like, Becky? And then, I mean, he may have said that when he first walked out. But the silhouette's like out of frame, too.
Out of focus, you mean?
Out of focus, sorry. Yeah. Out of focus is what I meant.
Yeah, and then the head goes back, and we see it's the fifth floor woman, and she's like chasing him. And
you are so believable that this was scary.
I mean, this was good.
And she went rawr, and
let's talk about the fifth floor woman. The makeup was cool. It was like she had like a skin. She was wearing somebody else's skin, or she like her face was ripped off, and she put it back on. Kinda.
I didn't even. Yeah, I guess that's.
Like it was like almost a skin mask on top of like a ripped off face. And let's just jump to the backstory. We don't have to do this blow by blow. That's boring as hell. Let's get right to the backstory of the fifth floor woman.
Yeah, man.
I thought that was pretty dark.
Awful.
I was like, holy shit, man, that is fucking dark.
Yeah. So this sorority girl, like a couple decades ago, named Allie, was pretty much hazed. Put into the elevator shaft, like at the bottom. They left. Girls forgot about her. Went back, started drinking. She was stuck there the entire weekend. Nobody was in the building because it's a business building, same building. And she eventually, when she starts going crazy. Then they come back, and she starts being crushed, like by the elevator, and I'm assuming it went to those floors. Like she got ripped up to those floors before she died, in that order, because they said it wasn't the broken back or the bones that killed her. The autopsy said that she was caught up in the gears at the end, and you're like, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. The elevator coming down to her when she's screaming. In the floor of the elevator is a red X, like you can from the light, glowing light in the elevator, to it coming down. So that story, holy crap!
Yeah, that was dark. It was creative.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and the girl finds that out. Our research nerd, she finds all that out. She digs that up.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really help him, but at least we get the backstory, right?
But well, and in this point we have Maddie that's in a circle of salt, and he pulls Ryan in.
That was a funny scene when he goes to get the salt.
Which is right before that's sweet.
He was an okay actor. He wasn't the greatest actor, but his character was funny.
Well, that's why I didn't want to skip, because his scary scene. He's at this bus stop forever. The bus isn't coming, and he's like, "Why the hell isn't it coming?" And he starts calling, and we see glitches on the phone and some weird things. And he sits down, and he's just like looks up, and it's like, ha! Like she's just on top of the clear bus, and he goes, oh no! And starts running, and he calls Chloe, and he's like, we did something, we opened a door, I don't know, she's here. And he's like, all right, meet me at the studio or whatever. And he goes into this little like...
He comes around the corner, he's talking outside, he's like, salt, I need salt. Where can I get salt? He's like, oh, this will have to do. And
he walks in and he's all like acting all cool. And then he's...
It's a nice restaurant and bar.
Yeah.
It's like an upscale restaurant. The guy, there's like a maitre d'.
There's probably like 5 seats in this entire place. Like that's how, ambient and see. It was very just, like late night, I don't know, little cafe turned bar restaurant. So he goes in and he just started, no, I see my people, thank you, like to the hostess, host, and he's just grabbing all the salt. And he's talking to himself, like trying to figure out exactly how to fix it. And
he was a good character.
He starts rubbing it on his face at one point, and he's like, do you have anything more coarse? And he goes, the host is like, I'm calling the cops. And Matty goes, okay, do that. Yeah. Okay, and then he's like, bingo, and he finds like
some sea salt.
Yeah. And he throws all the candles in his bag and then just leaves.
So he goes back to the studio. And now while he's doing all this, we have a good kill. The 2 characters that go back to get the GoPro that's left in the elevator.
You made me skip that part, but they died.
It's taking forever to get to it. Let's get to the death. Come on, people don't want to hear about every step of them. Oh, and then he took a piss, and then come on, chop.
So
they're in the elevator. What's the character?
When Ryan's in the red world, Izzy and Kevin are in the elevator.
That's it, Izzy and Kevin.
And they're getting it, and they're like, oh, let's play the game
while we're here, because of course the woman wants to play the game.
What
Eve wants to eat the apple. It's always the woman.
I don't think so.
We should play the game. And poor producer Kevin just wants to get his show done. He's just like, oh, come on, let's get out of here. We don't need to eat the apple, Eve. God said no. And Lizzie's like, come on,
stop
play the game.
Stop being a weenie and just play the game.
So they play the fucking game, and she's like steps out. She's like mocking it, like elevator woman, where are you, 5th floor woman? And then
I wouldn't do that.
And she's like, nothing there. And then all of a sudden, spray blood, and the fucking fist goes through his face.
Yes,
it was awesome. That was
his
one of the
was
highlights.
good.
That was an awesome
His
fucking
was
kill.
good.
Blah, hand through her. She's like, and she goes to run out, and like.
Her face gets grabbed a little bit, and then she's like...
the worst stunt grab ever. It was like the worst grab ever.
They should have just left it at that worst stunt grab, and then had the elevator...
It was like this. The grab was like, she's going out, and the hand was like here, and it's like not even touching, and she's like, and she like mimes it,
You're miming me.
Come on, you
I know.
have a hold of her head.
But it wasn't even that, like, because she had the long fingers.
When you do that shit, it's got to be like, your head's here, it's got to be like, whoosh.
Especially because she just fisted his neck, like, with her fingers.
Fisted him.
She did.
Steph likes that one. She was like, she just fisted him. This is the content they want.
I don't know.
Steph talk about fisting him. Where were we? We were fisting him.
We were not fisting him.
The 5th floor woman was fisting him right through his face.
But what I was saying for all this fisting, with Izzy's death, like, okay, they grabbed her head. It was very weak. But then they should have just kind of had her grabbed and then shut the door. No, they proceeded to, like, do you ever see, like, I feel like it would be comedic, or like on Saturday Night Live where the wrestlers like no, she's like running back, like going on like back and forth between the elevator, very not believable. It just seemed a little ridiculous. I didn't like that part. I was like, you're not trying to, I don't know if she was trying to run away from it, but she did an awful job. It was, the elevator door should have shut.
Well, I just hate off-camera kills. I don't see the point of an off-camera kill. I mean, unless you're just building suspense with it. If you've already started killing people, why do off-camera kills? You're just being cheap at that point, I feel like. And since we just fisted through this guy's face prior to this,
more fisting.
I just feel like the off-camera kill was just not.
It could have been
weak. It's a weak way out of the scene. And again, like the grab wasn't believable at all, and then the running back and forth as the elevator doors shut was totally weak. And
it was almost like satire. It was like,
like what was an awesome fucking practical gag with that fist coming through the mouth and punching right through Kevin's face, spraying blood everywhere. That was awesome. And then the rest of the scene was just so weak and like so not believable. It was a bit of a letdown, and that was probably one of the low points of the movie for me. That particular
I agree.
shot. And
just that,
And like if you're like we already had our off-camera kill with our opening kill. That's how you do it. You build up all that suspense, you briefly show the scary shit, and then you cut away as, die. And you don't know what fucking,
because you don't want to know the first opening scene.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to know what happens. Is she alive? Is she dead? Because her brother's coming to look for her, so maybe she's still alive and just taken to the red world.
Yeah, and that's what he thinks.
Right. So not ripped apart because she opened her eyes. That's I guess that's the difference. You could travel to the Rev world if you don't open your eyes.
Yeah, I guess
if you open them, she rips you apart.
Yeah,
because the brother doesn't open his eyes.
No, and now I have questions.
And he gets to the Red world.
I have a lot of questions after I rewatched it for the ending, so we can just get there.
All right. But I feel like that was one of the things. Like if you open your eyes, you get ripped to pieces. You don't get to the Red world. You get to the Red world if you keep your eyes closed and you obey the rules.
Yes.
You get to the Red world. But then once you're there, what do you do anyway? Because she's there and she's going to rip you to pieces anyway.
Well, that's what. Yes, but then so after we figure out the girl as Allie, we'll cut back to where we were just talking about, where they're in a circle of salt. They start humming all the same tune.
Yeah.
And she's like, what is that? And they realize it's the elevator song. The nursery rhyme. The elevator goes up and the doors close again, and then we play again. Like that's how it goes. So they go, okay, let's go, go play again, and then the doors should shut. I mean, good idea.
In theory, makes sense. You play it again, shuts the door. You open the door, play it once.
Yeah. So they go, okay, and Maddie and Ryan are hugging because they're like, yeah, let's do this. And they're like, okay, Chloe, stop humming. And she's like, that's not me. And this was a creepy scene because they cut to a dark corner. And you all know, how many times have you woken up in the middle of the night and you're looking in your corner and you're like,
is there something there?
Who the hell is over there? And you're like throwing stuff at it, waiting to hear. But this wasn't just like a person sitting like Poltergeist where it's the clown. This is like something just on the floor that looks like you're like, oh my God, she's all the way on the floor, like on her hands. And Chloe's like, they're like, Chloe, get back in the circle. Whatever. She starts going all, crazy. And she's obviously like an contortionist and she does a creepy crab walk and stuff, and she does that a couple times through the movie, which is cool. But basically they all get in a circle. This is where my favorite character, Maddie, dies because he thinks that she can't come into the circle, and then he's like, you can. And you could see like his instant relief too, which I thought was cool, and kind of where you're like, you start to go a little crazy because he starts laughing because he's a little bit relieved, thinking that she can't break the circle of salt. Well, she does. And we kind of see him get lifted, and then they show they have a camera at the feet, and there's just like blood kind of pooling. So then Chloe and Ryan go back to play the game a final time to go to the red room to close the door. They play the game, they go to the red room, but then when they come back down, it stops at 5, and they go, oh my God, why is it stopping at 5 and not going to 1? And Chloe's like, she's not going to let us get off. Well, they closed their eyes, and this is where my first question comes in. Okay, the original game, like when they first were going up, you open your eyes. You close your eyes when you get to the 5th floor, and then when the door is shut and she's on, you're allowed to open your eyes. Well, in this case, they are coming down now from the 10th floor. They are like, why did we stop at the 5th? They close their eyes. The doors close again. She's clearly on the elevator again. they don't open their eyes when the doors close. He's telling her to keep her eyes shut, and they're going down to 1. Now, what happens is before the doors open for 1, Chloe opens her eyes because the doors weren't opening for 1 for a few minutes. And this was a cool scene because we see her eye just immediately fill with blood, which was cool. And then it's kind of a side view, but we imagine that her head kind of explodes because there's blood everywhere.
Yeah, so if I'm looking this way, it's this side of the eye that was like, and you start to kind of see it in slow motion spray out.
But you see the first shot is straight on.
Straight on, and the eyes fill with
blood, which was cool.
Cut to this side, and it's like,
yeah.
Does like a profile view of the
and then
blood explosion from her eye.
Yeah, which I thought that was cool. And then Ryan kind of looks and sees, he sees the woman. But then now he's on the 10th floor again. No woman.
In the red world.
He's in the red world. And he walks off, and we hear what is not, we're assuming it's Becky, go, Ryan? So you kind of think, okay, now are they both stuck there? Was that really her? Why couldn't she open her eyes after the 5th floor doors closed again? Why did she die? I don't know. I had a couple questions, but
we always have questions at the end of horror movies.
Because we start thinking about it so much, and I'm like, and then we see this new influencer that pops onto the elevator, and she's like, this is the spot where Ryan and Chloe and, and all these people died or went missing. That maybe I'm going to go live and do it with you people. And people are like, you see all the comments, no, don't. Oh my God, do it. It's just, it was funny. And then she's like, ready? Verse 1, 4th floor. And then we cut to, and I thought this was a cool little ending, kind of like a Carrie, where it's not her hand that's actually hitting the number 4, it's the hand. It's the girl's hand. Yeah. But I had some questions. I don't know. There's
always questions.
Yeah, maybe they both saw her. So maybe Becky didn't die. Maybe Ryan didn't.
Maybe they're just trapped in the red world, and we'll get a sequel.
I guess we'll see about that.
Elevator Game 2.
I don't know.
The 13th floor.
Oh.
Woman.
Yeah. They don't ever have the number 13, so that would be a little...
Yeah. Scary.
Disappears. Disappears on the buttons.
Yep. 13th floor.
When you're on the 14th floor, you're like, yeah, I'm on the 13th floor, right?
Yep. Totally no.
Yeah.
All right, well, yeah, that about does it. Everybody dies. It's one of those. Everybody dies or is trapped in the red world.
Yeah.
And the 5th floor woman wins.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, because she got a raw deal.
That
was fucked up.
So I know.
Fucked up how they did to that 5th floor woman.
I was saying, I wasn't expecting them. I kind of was expecting a happy ending for Ryan and Chloe. Because you usually do. And then you're like, oh wow, she just exploded. Oh wow, he's stuck. Okay. They lost. But maybe he won because he's reunited with the sister. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It was a fun little ride, and it's very reminiscent of other movies that we've been reviewing lately. Talk to Me, and... We're
just going to find connections to all of these movies.
Well, yeah, it's very similar.
I know.
This is what's hot right now, is this supernatural horror, so I can dig it.
Yeah. I like it more in this because we all played Bloody Mary in the Mirror and, Candyman, or, just certain things that you would kind of go and do and hope that a spirit would come from doing it. And you still have that sense of, okay, I don't believe this, but I don't really want to mess with it kind of attitude. So I like this because it's like a game. You're like, okay, we're going to do some of them are just totally not even fazed by it, and other ones are really believing it and not wanting to chance it. So I thought it, it was good in that sense. It kind of brings you to that like younger self where you're like scared to do things. Like,
yeah, definitely a young vibe. Yeah. All right, well, that'll do it for our digging deeper section. We can put away the shovel, Steph Infection.
All right.
And my rant already happened. Yeah, I already ranted about trailers. Stop putting the best, scariest parts in the god dang trailer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that already happened. Any trivia on this one?
There's one thing. So I'm not familiar with this show, but Evil on CBS, it says this was used as the main topic in season 2 of Evil on CBS. E is for elevator. Pressing elevator buttons in a specific manner can open a direct passage to hell. So I guess like the storyline, maybe the story, like the writers.
E is for elevator. Oh, okay.
So I don't get from that, I don't know if the writers had a hand in that, like before making the movie, just on an episode. I don't know if either of those writers were actually listed as right, or if they just kind of took it from that. But
yep, interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, once again, this is Elevator Game. It is on Shudder and AMC Plus too. You can see it there as well. And I'm on IMDb. I'm going to give it 7 out of 10. 6 out of 10 stars. I'm going to rate it.
That's fair.
Yeah. Give it that 6 out of 10 rating.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So, that's going to do it for us. Well, it's going to do it for Elevator Game.
Yeah.
Be sure to check it out. Be sure to follow us on all the social medias and
all the things.
Check out Stalked on social media as well. You can find it at stalk.movie on Instagram and I think Facebook. There's a page now, and they just got a Indiegogo going to try and get the final funding for post-production. Just started. There's some really cool perks on there.
Yeah, really cool.
Buy murder weapons from the movie. There's like associate producer credits you could get, and all kinds of cool stuff on there. So be sure to check it out. Support independent horror. And we're back to work on Deadsville soon.
Yes.
We promise. And
we
we're coming from Dickie Devil and the TV.
Yeah. Got a busy October, and then
we'll see you out there soon. Anything else we should add, Steph Infection?
I don't think so.
Anything to read from our mailbag?
Well, let's.
Want that one question we should do?
I didn't really think of anything, so I think
you can ask it to me. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll ask it to you.
Yes.
So it's part 1 of Justin Selig's email from our last episode.
From the mailbag.
From the mailbag at deadsvillehorrortalk@gmail.com. If someone has never seen horror movies before and wanted to be introduced, what would be your introduction to horror film?
Okay. Well, I guess...
It's hard because, like, are we talking PG? Or are we talking?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Introduction.
And how old is the person that we're introducing? Is it an adult, or is it a child? Is it a teen? What are we?
Yeah.
For kids, I would say Monster Squad would be a good one. Introduce them to the Universal monsters in a family-friendly way with just enough teenish humor that they won't find it too cheesy. For adults, man, I mean, The Exorcist is always one of the go-tos. Just because it's like
introduction.
Well, I mean,
that's like scary.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if I, but introduction to kind of, I don't know, and like it's so hard because like I guess I would say, like, even at a young age, like, I think Beetlejuice, and I had, like, Hocus Pocus. Like, there's some scarier parts for, like, younger generations.
I didn't find Beetlejuice that scary.
Well, maybe not. Yeah, you didn't, but you like
it was like a spooky comedy.
Yeah, so maybe that's what I mean. Introduction. I don't.
Hocus Pocus was
Hocus
more
Pocus.
spooky. I didn't find it that scary. Like I'd find it.
I'm talking about for kids.
I guess.
But like in recent, like I don't know.
That's why I like Monster Squad. Those monsters, like when you're a kid, if you're watching that, and those monsters are coming after you, and you got stuff like Wolfman's got nards. Like what kid isn't gonna love that?
I know, but I loved Hocus Pocus, but
right.
I'm trying to. And there was the witches grab you, and I don't know. They're sucking the life out of kids.
Maybe. Yeah.
I remember being a little frightened by that. But I mean,
for an adult.
I think in most recent, like, that movie Megan kind of was, like, remember?
For an adult you're talking about?
Well, like PG-13.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm going to go with, like, Halloween, probably.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to, like an introduction to how horror is done, or how, like, I mean, Halloween, mostly because John Carpenter is a master of horror, and he kind of set the tone. It's kind of set to that kind of slasher.
That's actually a really
genre on its way with that original Halloween kind of.
Because it's more suspenseful. It's not even. There's no gore, and
No, yeah, it's very atmospheric. Suspense. There's a lot of tension. It's use of shadows. The mask, like.
Oh, yeah.
He did the whole mask view and stuff, and like.
Well, my kid watched that when she was like 6, so yeah, I was obsessed.
Yeah, I mean,
I
think like
that's like
Carpenter damn near defined the slasher genre almost with that one. I mean, I know there was stuff before it, and there's other things that are kind of considered the first slasher, but he just nailed it so well with that original.
And he had that longest running scene without cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the house scene. It was he got that, panoramic camera, remember? And did, like, it was all choreographed, like, where he was actually going to go because it was point of view. And that was, like, unheard of that he did that all in kind of one shot. So that was really cool. Walking through the house and everything.
Well,
and having
with the mask on.
And having all the actors do it exactly when they were supposed to. So that was, that's a good one. I think if you're introducing yourself to horror as an adult, you kind of got to go back to like the beginning a little bit. Like,
well, that's why I say Halloween, because that's kind of like the beginning of modern horror.
Modern horror, yeah. So that's 70s stuff. Not like we're not, have to do like Universal Monsters. I don't think that's.
No, I would absolutely. But you're not going to find Universal Monsters as scary nowadays, because modern horror has so moved past.
So I agree. I agree with what you're saying, because 70s and then into the 80s, kind of like you kind of got to pick and choose, because there wasn't as many freedoms, So if you want to really introduce yourself, start from kind of that moment where things were starting to happen. The Exorcist, though, still a really old one. That still is. I would not suggest anyone that has never watched a horror film to watch that first, because certain parts of that still get to me.
That's the sign of a good movie, if it stays with you. That's why certain movies that we watch, even stuff that we review that I never even hear people talk about, like Cobweb and stuff. I was like some of that shit stays with me. I'm like, man, that's crazy. Like certain parts.
You just think about it randomly.
I do. I'll be like, man. Well, no, but I mean, after the movie, it still sinks in. Like a day or two later, you're still kind of thinking about parts of the movie, or certain, somebody's performance, or putting yourself in a character's shoes, or something that just was man, when you watch that shit happen, it just stays with you. There's something about it.
I do that a lot with movies. That really, putting myself into somebody's shoes kind of makes it stick with me longer, I think that would be fair, what you said. So
there you go, Justin. I hope you like that answer. Halloween, and for kids, like I said, Monster Squad.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Because you kind of give them that's where the Universal Monsters. I mean, that actually made them kind of scary again. Dracula was a kind of scary dude in
Yeah.
that one.
That's, yeah, definitely, at least for kids even.
So.
Yeah. You gotta, and there's so many good ones, like, you know.
All right. Well, hope we had a good answer for you. And if you have more questions like that, feel free to send them in to the mailbag at
DeadsvilleHorrorTalk@gmail.com.
All right. Once again, subscribe, like, hit the bell, comment, all that good stuff. Share, listen on the ride, and watch on Spotify, YouTube, and coming to Rumble.
Yeah, Rumble.
Let's
get ready to rumble. Were you gonna say that?
No.
Oh.
But good one. Look at you. Steph Infection with the puns. All right. That's going to do it for us here at Deadsville Horror Talk this week. Next week we'll be back with another one.
Yeah.
Maybe some more information and some more stuff from the set of Stalked. Until then, stay spooky.
Bye, Scream Hearts.